I'm Minnie Roh. Some of you might get invited to a fancy holiday party, complete with an ice sculpture gracing the room. But have you ever stopped to think about the artist behind the sculpture? I'm going to take you into the studio of one of the most prolific ice carvers in the country to show you how he's taken this age-old craft and elevated it to a true art form.
The way we carve is kind of a combination of kind of old school craft with hand tools, chisels and saws, plus the power tools, chainsaws, die grinders and drills.
From bears and swans to cars, Star Wars, even a life-size chessboard. If you can think of it, Shintaro Okamoto can carve it.
We've done, furniture made out of ice, an entire room made out of ice, portrait replicas, interactive material products and designs.
Every day, Okamoto Studio churns out works of art made completely from ice for clients with household names such as Martha Stewart, Uniqlo, and Porsche. Sometimes the pieces are carved from one solid block. Sometimes it's several pieces fused together by slightly melting the ice and letting physics work its magic. Every time, it results in a dramatic masterpiece that Okamoto urges people to touch, feel, even lick.
I love, putting our work out and having people who didn't expect it come across it, and then be able to interact with it and learn about our craft and what we do. So that's a really great feeling as an artist, to really kind of directly connect with people and then kind of contribute some kind of knowledge that then they can then spread.
These striking conversation pieces all begin life as a massive block of frozen water. Okamoto makes his own ice in these machines that take up to 3 or 4 days to create a giant ice cube that stands 4 feet tall and weighs about 300 pounds. First, Okamoto etches out the sketch. His chainsaw slices into the ice, and like melted butter, it cuts, molds, and finally transforms the frozen mass into what can only be described as a cool piece of art.
Working with ephemeral material like ice is, kind of falls in a realm of something closer like performance art.
Okamoto credits his talent for ice sculpting to his father. A trained sushi chef from Japan, Takeo Okamoto discovered a passion for ice art while pursuing his day job. The elder Okamoto was so passionate about his craft, he moved his entire family to Alaska in the pursuit of ice.
I remember, one boring winter day, took us to a frozen lake and took out a chainsaw and cut out a block of ice, pulled it out, and actually sculpted a swan and gave it to a friend for a big house party.
At first, Okamoto says ice carving was just a way for him to spend time with his dad. But soon he was hooked, and the duo entered competitions across the country, from Fairbanks, Alaska to Central Park. In the 90s, they would set up shop in Queens, New York, where they carved their way through the heart and hearts of New York City.
I think what makes our work fun and challenging and interesting and fulfilling is that we get to do our work here in New York City. In New York City, it's the center of top tastemakers of all industries. So we get to really change hats every day, working with event designers, fashion designers, to product designers, doing fashion shows and film premieres and replicas of designs, and artists that we open our studios to do different commissions and collaborations.
The earliest record of ice making dates back to 600 BC, when the Senshi warrior farmers of northwest China would flood their fields in the winter and harvest the ice to use in the summer. In the 1600s, hunters and fishermen in Harbin, China, along the Russian border, would carve ice lanterns for dark winter nights. To this day, there is an international ice and snow sculpture festival in Harbin that draws thousands of artists from around the world. Other notable ice festivals include ones in Alberta, Canada, Sapporo, Japan, and Breckenridge, Colorado. Depending on the subject, ice creations can take anywhere from an hour for this swan to an entire day and more, as in the case of this life-size replica of an elephant. And while these beautiful carvings stand tall and proud for many hours, eventually, as ice is wont to do, it melts into a puddle of water. True to his Asian upbringing, though, Okamoto is philosophical, almost zen, in the temporary nature of his craft.
When you experience something that's going away right in front of you, I think makes that present moment that much precious. And I think it's that kind of relationship with memory and presence and time that is clearly art of its own.
I'm Minnie Roh for Asian American Life.